Picture this: 500 lives lost in American workplaces every year. Thousands are injured or even ill. These aren't just numbers, they're people with families, dreams, and futures cut short. You may be wondering, with federal guidelines put in place, how can this still be happening? Well, it's a lot more common than you'd think. Of course, not every single job is going to be as dangerous as the other. For instance, a massage therapist won't have the same things to worry about as a deep-sea fisherman, or a fry cook at McDonald's won't have the same things to be wary of as a warehouse worker. We've all been in a situation where safety routines and mundane checkups can be boring or seem tedious and unneeded. But as negative as these practices may seem for us, they're here to keep us safe. Through OSHA, environmental inspectors, health inspectors, and even the CDC, they all strive to do the heavy lifting to provide an outline for us in how to work efficiently. To kick things off, I'd like to delve into what workplace health and safety is. What does it mean? We all know about HR in a workplace, have seen those corny safety videos when training for a company, or even receive paperwork on guidelines on how to be safe in a workplace and stay healthy. But in general, it refers to anything and everything that has to do with workers' physical and mental well-being. Specifically, they're overlooked and monitored through standards put in place by the federal government, through procedures like trainings, evaluations, and policies. They can all be used to ensure the general welfare of workers. OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, was established in December of 1970. As a federal agency, OSHA develops and ensures workplace safety standards to protect employees nationwide. It's supported by specialized labor agencies as well, like DOT for transportation and MSHA for mining. And prior to the creation of OSHA, the work scene was very bleak and even more dangerous. Employers exploited workers in dangerous environments with limited protections from the federal government. These unsafe working standards sparked outrage among common laborers, and it really got the ball rolling in favor of their protections. With the basics out of the way, we can now delve further into the more specific causes of what can make a workplace so unsafe or unhealthy. Workplace hazards can range from falls and chemical exposures to toxic management practices. First, it's good to recognize the industries that have a higher risk for physical duress. For instance, healthcare workers, construction workers, mechanics, heavy machinery operators are all good examples. But injuries can happen in any and every workspace if you're not careful. OSHA states that falls, electrocution, falling objects, and being caught in between machinery are four of the most lethal hazards we must mitigate in a workplace. But those aren't exactly issues for every single occupation. In a broader sense, lack of training, improper tools or safety equipment, unhygienic practices, exposure to harsh and improperly disposed of chemicals can all put workers at risk in each different job industry. Aside from physical ailments, it's also good to consider mental health problems. Mental health has been a hot topic recently after it hasn't been considered a top priority in most workplaces until recently due to the destigmatizing of the topic itself, both in society and in workplaces. But a lot of employers nowadays offer mental health days, benefits, and outside resources to assist with these internal struggles. As for the last one, we don't often think about this as an issue, but organizational hazards are very real. When a coworker tells you to brush off a rude customer interaction because that's how it is, or a manager is blatantly rude for you, but everybody reassures you it's okay, these can all be considered organizational hazards that create a toxic work environment. They're all factors that can harm employees by putting them both at physical and emotional risk. It can leave workers with low morale and lower motivations to complete day-to-day tasks. And you may be wondering, why does workplace health and safety matter so much? But even today, we still see far too many workplace-related injuries, illnesses, and deaths. While the numbers might not match those in less developed countries, or even the numbers from prior years in the United States, they're still high enough to be deeply concerning, and they certainly could be closer to zero. Most work injuries are very avoidable, but due to carelessness from employees or inadequate training from employers, it can all go downhill very quickly when you're not equipped with the tools and training you need to be successful at your job. And lastly, the most important piece of the puzzle: happy and healthy employees make for a productive and enjoyable workplace, not to mention the legal and ethical factors that demand for the protected lives of workers. If workers don't feel a sense of doom breathing down their neck, they'll typically perform really well at their jobs. If workers are able-bodied and mentally ready to tackle their day-to-day objectives, risk is lowered, and companies can keep more money in their pockets when they're not having to compensate workers for being injured on the clock. Finally, hundreds of workplace fatalities and thousands of recorded injuries and illnesses highlight the urgency of workplace safety initiatives. In short terms, how can you prevent these instances? It is proven that awareness, preparation, and proper training are keys to prevention and protecting every worker's health. As the wise Benjamin Franklin once said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And while that quote can be true in many walks of life, it describes the worth of workplace safety perfectly. An effort of education and prevention can save you a world of hurt.